All right, today I'm gonna be doing clutch master and slave cylinder on the 90. So yeah, mine ended up going out when I was driving, and unfortunately I had to limp it home in second. It was leaking clutch fluid. I mean, it shares the same fluid as your brakes and stuff. And if you look in here, there is a divider for the part for the clutch, and this one is about damn near empty. So, well, they do this to separate it. So like when you lose your clutch, you don't lose your brakes, so you can still stop. We're gonna be disconnecting this line in a minute, and gotta try to catch the fluid to, or whatever remaining fluid in like a jar or something. But up underneath the dash, I mean, right now, my pedal actually went back to what it was, but if I do drive it again and it gets heated up, well, there should be air in the lines now because, you know, I had fluid leaking out and it was expanded and spongy and gross. So if I drive it now, it's almost definitely gonna fail again. So I just need to replace the master cylinder and then the slave cylinder as well, because if you replace one over the other, depending on how old they are, they might, like the new one might, since it's can hold better pressure, it might blow out the other one. So if you replace one and your other one's like old as hell too, replace them both. But I need to take off this lower part to kind of give me a little bit more room. I mean, I could do that like this, but I need a little bit more room. All right, all it was 2 bolts behind this cap. They're both 10 mils. You do need a little bit of an extension, but it just opens up this whole area to really kind of get back up into here. I mean, it's still a little cramped up back here, but there is a pin you got to get out that connects to this, and then 2 Allen key bolts. And then still got to disconnect the fluid on the other side. And then also there's another line. There's 2 lines connected to this, the one to the reservoir and another one to the slave cylinder. But yeah. Another thing you might want to consider doing is laying down the some stuff to catch some fluid, just so it doesn't get in your carpet or anything. Getting that pin out, or the little lock for that pin right there at the tip of my finger. You honestly just need to, you could either use your fingers or something. It came off really easily. I just probably wouldn't try to overdo it just so you don't bend it up. All right, got those bolts out. Probably the most annoying bolts ever. The bottom one right there is not too bad, but the one up top right there, a little bit more difficult, a little bit more harder to get to, especially when you're trying to break them loose without stripping them. But got them out, got this piece disconnected. Now I need to go take off the line and see if I can start sliding this thing back. I'll be honest, I kind of forgot where I left off with doing this, because I've kind of been off and on doing it because this has been pissing me off, more or less. Essentially got everything on the master cylinder unbolted besides the hard line. On the slave cylinder, got the hard line undone. There's only one bolt holding it on, and yeah, but just kind of been at a standstill trying to get the hard line off the master cylinder, because there's no way to reach it from the bottom or the outside, and then on the inside it's like extremely difficult to get the hard line most of the way in to get a wrench on it. Looking on different forums and stuff, that's what people are saying you have to do, is just push a little bit harder and to kind of get it through. So we're gonna try that and then move on to the sleeves. After probably the worst amount of time I've ever spent on something, finally this stuff comes out. Not sure exactly where this failed. Really hoping it's not any of the hard lines or anything. I mean, the hard lines seem really good. Slave cylinder's about out anyways, so Just gotta swap this stuff over. You want to make sure to set this exactly after re-putting it in, just so you can readjust your clutch pedal after bleeding it. I'm honestly gonna keep this. It doesn't look in, bad shape. I believe that one of the videos I watched, there's rebuild kits out there for these, so I'm gonna get a rebuild kit and maybe do another video, a separate video on that. Still got to pull out the slave cylinder. Again, I already got it disconnected from the hard line. I just got to get the 1 bolt and then slide it out of the transmission. But I'm already not looking forward to that. But I got the master cylinder in there. Everything's hooked up for it. But yeah, so it's just the slave cylinder. All right, getting the slave cylinder out was pretty easy. Just going underneath the car and finding the right spot to get this 1 bolt. I believe putting it in will be way harder, just because you got to compress this down, and this part might be going in the transmission. I'm not entirely sure, but I believe this is the one that failed, because this boot just seems really wore out, soaked in oil and shit. So again, I believe this is the one that kind of crapped out. And so yeah, I will be getting trying to find a rebuild kit for this one, because and I mean this lasted about 200,000 miles, and same with the other one. So in about however long this holds up, I'll be able to put this one back in after it gets rebuilt. I also took the liberty to actually clean the bracket that goes with it, because I mean it was like caked in oil and shit. I mean it's gonna make it a little easier to just see, I guess, but everything else in the car is caked in oil. All right, so I know I didn't really show the clutch slave cylinder that much, but it is pretty easy to follow it once you are underneath the car, up on the driver's side, like about with my head about right here. I was able to kind of get through and get it. I mean, it is a little awkward. Definitely got to jack the car up off the ground. A lot of people say they use lifts and stuff, but it's definitely a job you can do with a jack and jack stands. It was pretty easy taking it out, of course. It's always harder to put that shit back in. First off, lining up the bolt, and then getting the hard line in. There's people that say they've done, they've made plugs for the vacuum on the slave cylinder to compress the rod to make it easier to line up everything, or to line up the bolts at least. And so there's a handful of different ways to do it, but if you just raw dog it like me and don't do any of the plugs or nothing, like, you'll be fine. It probably, I want to say all in all, took like 3 hours of straight working. I mean, I did start at like 7, and it's like 5, 6, almost, maybe more, because I took a lot of phone breaks and other stuff to kind of double check to make sure I was doing everything right. So all in all, might be like 4 or 5 hours to just straight working and researching and stuff, making sure you're doing it right. But yeah, hopefully in the next video we'll be doing more of a breakdown on this thing, because I still have all my parts, and then hopefully a riding video with this. But yeah, thank you guys for watching.